Beautiful humans, welcome back to another episode of the I Like Birds podcast. I'm your host, Zach Rippey, and this podcast is dedicated to the non-believers, the confused believers, and the true believers. Because I, at one time or another, was all three, and I'm here to help you get a better understanding of who Jesus is and what he's all about. Let's grow in our faith together. You learn as I learn. I like the Bible, and I like words, so therefore, I like birds. Let's start the show.
People, are you ready? Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the I Like Birds podcast. I'm so grateful that you're here. My name is Zach Rippey, and I'm your host. Man, we've had such an influx of new listeners as of late, and I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's been tuning in that is a newbie. Thank you for everybody that's been here since day one, and just along the way, whenever you find yourselves trickling in, it just always means the world to me because it just lets me know that people are out there hungry for more faith, hungry for more Jesus, hungry for more just life-giving conversations and topics and just discussions that we do on this show. And of course, you know, we sprinkle in some humor and just some truth, and just the raw and the realness aspect of this show is what I feel like has garnered us the success of the show in the 2.5 years that we've been doing it. And, you know, they say it takes 5 years for something to actually gain a weight to it, especially in business, and gaining a successful stance when it comes to the eyes of the people and just the longevity of it. So the fact that we're halfway there means the world to me, and you being a part of the ride has only made it that much more enjoyable. So good news is, on the audio platforms only, which this is an audio only episode for the peeps that have been here since, you know, the beginning or just love the audio. I've been doing a lot of videos recently, if you've noticed on social media, and even if you're a fan of our YouTube. And I have to say, man, it's given me even more of an appreciation for the audio, because I just see how much people are listening and just see how much impact the show has when people are able to tune in throughout their week, whether they be in the car, at the gym. I had a listener one time tell me that they listen in the shower, and I was like, all right, like, that's cool. Get with it, you know, like, that's your only time. She was a mom. And that's maybe something that you guys can adopt yourselves if you guys ever find yourselves in the shower wanting to hear a little word and just hear, you know, a good time and a good vibe on the show. But anyway, just wanted to come on here and just open with that and just say thank you so much for that support. We've also had, we've had an influx of sales too for the shirts and the books. Recently, I went to the post office 2 times in the last week to ship out I'll just tell you the exact number, 11 orders, which is incredible, with shirts and books, and just signing them and sending them out, and just y'all being able to be so supportive of that, which, wow, shipping costs have gone up since the last time I was shipping out shirts. I will say that. So on the next round of shirts and books, I might have to raise it up at least $5 to at least break even on my purchases of the shirts and books and stuff like that. So, but essentially, man, I'm not even talking about that, but I'm more so talking about just the support. You know, people putting their hard-earned money to support us is just incredible, and just the fact that you're taking the time to wear the shirts and read the book, it just shows that the support before the blow up is real, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all, and I feel like God has a big plan for my own personal walk and my own personal life and my own character for sure, and my ministry, and just the podcast, the book. Like, who knows what else, what other doors God is going to open that's just going to really just, you know, bring more life to what we're doing over here. So I just want to say thank you so much, y'all. Truly, it means the world, and it feels so good, especially in a slow month like February for my business. It was just like life-giving to be able to, like, you know, have something to do that felt like, wow, God is blessing this area of my being, essentially. So, and it's of course, you know, it's helpful for the family as well, and it was just truly special. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Hope y'all enjoyed the letters, if you got those as well. Made sure to personalize each and every one of them to my relationship with you, and it just means so much, especially knowing that so many people ordered them that weren't in Texas. You know what I mean? I've been living here for like the last 4 years now, and I think everybody that bought a shirt and a book online was all from, you know, Florida, Maryland, all over the place, to name a few right there. Are you exhausted by chasing money? Do you ever feel that way? Are you just tired of, like, putting in all this effort and this energy throughout your weekly lives in order to just get a little piece of paper to pay for the bills that are in your life, does that ever just exhaust you? I listened to a podcast recently by my Andrew Schultz's podcast, and a local comedian from the Dallas-Fort Worth area has really made a name for himself and has kind of blown up over the last year. He's got like 350K Instagram followers. He was just on the Tonight Show. His name is Ralph Barbosa, and he was on the podcast, and he just recently, like I said, blew up. So he's, just been killing it, right? And he said last week was the first time he hasn't made money in a long time. And he used to be a barber and, claimed on there that he was a bum and he doesn't really care about the money kind of thing. And he was like, I enjoyed that week of not making money. It felt like me again. And it was a very interesting perspective to have. And I was just like, wow, that's so true. It's like, you can go from being your pedal to the metal, and then boom, the second you take that off for a second, it just feels nice, So it's one of those things where I'm in this season right now where when you look at like your month over month of like what you're making, especially being self-employed, it's very like up and down, and you never know what opportunities are going to come your way. And, God's always been faithful and always provided, but it's been one of those things recently where it's like, no matter how much, you think you need to make per month, it always seems like there's just something that comes up that's unexpected, or a big expense that, is on the table that you're going to have to cover soon, and, taxes rolling around. It's just like this never ending cycle of once you have it, it finds a new home. Once you make it, somebody else takes it. Once you got it, it gets transferred to somebody else's pocket, and I'm living in this season right now over the last couple of days specifically where I'm just kind of, I want to take my foot off the gas, even though it's like all these things have come up, in my family of like, we want to do a fence. We were trying to fix the RV to sell the RV. We got friends coming to town. We got a doctor visit that Catherine's going to that's, going to be on the pricier side. We got all these things. I don't want to go down the list here because I don't want to bore you because it's a long one. But all these things just approaching all at once, and just feels like playing catch up from Christmas. And of course, as a writer and a freelancer, January, like literally November through February is like the worst time of year as far as, just being slower. But even though, I will say God has been super faithful. Like we've been able to, handle all our bills in that time, despite it being a little bit slower than the usual. And it's just trying to figure things out as being a homeowner. I've only been a homeowner since April and have had to, make big decisions for the land and for the family, getting a truck and stuff like that, and just having big things come up. You know what I mean? I'm sure you guys can relate. At least one season in your life, you've had that happen. And it's just one of those things where, man, I just feel like I want to take my foot off the gas and just trust. Does that make sense? Instead of me being like, all right, what can I do to make more money? What can I do do I got to create more gigs? Do I got to promote my gigs on Fiverr and like spend money on cost per clicks and stuff like that? Do I got to keep trying to sell more books? Like, what is the thing, God, that I have to do? Do I got to get a part-time job somewhere just for like, Friday and Monday and then write on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Like, what is it? Right before I came on here, I shut off my fan. I shut off my music. And I opened up a book that's about Christ, and I just felt this peace of like, man, we have everything we need. We're good. Like, there's no reason. And that's the thing, y'all. This is a little bit interesting. I read this quote from, shout out Lucas Beasley from Oklahoma. He's a pastor out there, and he put up this quote recently that said, "Worshiping or worrying is a form of worshiping, and it's not to God." And I was like, ooh, like that stung a little bit. So like, that's interesting because I feel this peace where I'm not like worried financially at all. I'm just bothered by it. Like I said, I feel like, man, we're making great money for, comparatively to what we were a year ago, as far as, my freelance writing goes and all that. But still, it's like that number almost feels like it's never enough, and I've heard that before when people talk about, the love of money. It's like once you have a certain number, it's like you're going to want more and more and more and need more and more and more, and it's like, I don't want to feel that way. So I don't know. I'm taking my foot off the gas and I'm releasing it because it is exhausting chasing money. And I don't want to deal with that. I don't even want to think about that. I don't want to, let that be my focus. I want my focus to be Christ and, the calling he's put on my life. And I just got to trust. I just got to put on his tab. You know what I mean? And that's what I say often whenever, my wife's like, oh, I want a new vacuum or a new bowl or a mixing bowl. Or, practical stuff that we need, for her making sourdough and then her cleaning the house. It's not like she's over here wanting like jewelry and, Louis Vuitton bags or anything like that. But Whenever something comes up, when it comes with the kids or something like that, I'm oftentimes just like, well, I guess we'll just put on the Lord's tab, and like, Jesus, you got this, right? So, but also being smart, I cut a couple expenses. I cut some investments things down a little bit. That's like, all right, let me just put this down here for a little bit to get us through this little season. And, just making more sound decisions and, being smart, because I don't know if you've noticed, y'all, but the price of everything is still going up. They say inflation's coming down, but they lie, Jack. It ain't peaking. It ain't sticky. They just be lying. It ain't coming down. Oh, gas came down because, guess what? We drained 600 million barrels of oil from the strategic reserve. Oh, yeah, that's real nice. It's 30 cents lower? Okay, great. That's awesome. What about the eggs I'm paying for more for a dozen than for a pound of ground beef? How's that work out, Jack? Biden's economy. I do hope if y'all voted for Biden, y'all repented. I'm going to just say that because... and I'm not just so much blaming it on one dude, but like the country is like for real in free fall. And I kind of, I got a little hot. On the last episode that I did with John Ramos and David Uceta and Mario Cedillo. And I got a little passionate about, the Grammys and the Super Bowl halftime show and just all the perverseness that's going on in the world. And, when I left the studio, I was like, man, did I go too far? Did I go like a little hard on that? And I didn't feel like convicted at all. I felt more so just like I didn't communicate everything as much as I wanted to, or as well as I wanted to, if that makes sense. I wish I kind of like packaged it better instead of letting the passion and the emotion kind of drive what I was saying. So I haven't even listened to it back. I just remember that's how I felt afterwards. I'm like, man, I wish I kind of said it better because I didn't paint it in the right perspective that I had about it initially. I did talk a lot about, or I did have a moment where I talked about Tony Evans preaching about how we could even in America put, race as an idol above God, to the point that we're okay with the sin and the perverseness of an entertainer as long as they line up with our race and we like their music and our flesh supports them. So we're willing to put that above God and our own faith based on our love for this artist and for this person. And I don't know, that's kind of what I was communicating when I brought up the race part of it, because we can put a race above that. We can put anything above God. If people back in the day can put like a fake statue or a statue of like a cow above God, they can certainly put a celebrity figure that is influential, especially in the world of music, fashion, and design, above God as well. So we just have to be vigilant about that. But you know what, I kind of, I had my moment before the show and I was just kind of thinking and doing some pre-show notes about that subject. And I think what bothered me the most about it was that, I would go online and I wouldn't really see any Christians talking about even the Grammys thing. And the, Rihanna's halftime show wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm not saying that. There was definitely some, she was grabbing her below the parts area and did a little sniff of the fang. And had the dancers kind of like, perversely dancing and almost like treating her like she was like a sex god and worshiping her. There was definitely a lot of symbolism there with that. We got the red, we got the white, we got the masked up people. We have like, the hips moving back and forth in a way that's not very honoring to God. Let's just say that. And, of course, that's kind of, we're used to that in our culture. We're used to that in our entertainment. So we don't really think anything of it. It's almost like we've been programmed ourselves, me, myself included, to think that that's just normal, But if you think about it, it wasn't long ago when Elvis was censored from television for shaking his hips too much, which that is not long ago, y'all. Like our parents listened to Elvis, you know what I mean? So like to think of how secular America has become and how much we've allowed on the airwaves and the internet and the TV. And it's scary to think about, I realize, though, that I have to stop worrying about what other Christians are doing or posting about and saying and just focus on what I'm doing. And I'll just be the one to call it out and lead the way, because at the end of the day, it's like I was just kind of hot, honestly, because I haven't been able to get on the mic. And I've been wanting to get on the mic about this because it's truly bothersome. And we can't stand for it. It's almost like we have to pick a team right now. And Candace Owens talked about this, and I strongly agree that it's right in our face now. You know, they're not hiding it anymore. It's not like subtly, oh, if you pause it and you rewind the song, you can see Illuminati. No, it's straight up like she's holding up the Illuminati sign. She's dancing. She's, you know, the imagery that's involved in it, the triangle that's going on with the, you know, Jack Harlow commercial, the Adam and Eve, you know, avocado commercial that they had where they're, you know, mocking God. You see Damar Hamlin wearing a jacket that has, you know, Christ on a cross with like a devilish face. Being hung there, and it's just all blasphemy, you know. And it's like, I love my Lord, I love Jesus Christ. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see people that are in the public eye bash and disrespect my God that died for me, that died for them. It breaks my heart, and I get pissed off. I can't lie to y'all. I get mad. I get angry. I get righteously angry, you know. In my own opinion, I think that's the way I feel, because it's like, imagine it's like someone coming for your family, but way worse, because I have a deeper relationship with Christ than I do my family at times, you know, and that's the way it should be. And that's the way, you know, God tells us to love him. And, you know, sometimes I feel distant from God, but at the same time, that made me like, bro, I want to get closer to you, God, because like other people are over here like disrespecting you. And I don't like that on the public eye, on the biggest stage of the world. Like Damar Hamlin, who everybody thinking united with in prayer, is over here like literally wearing a jacket. Go look up this jacket if you have not seen it. Please go see what I'm talking about, so you can see the disgust of this branding and design that's mocking Christ on a cross. Blatantly, clear as day. Look at every part of the jacket, the front, the back, the side, all the writing and scriptures that are on it. Please check it out. You'll see what I'm talking about. And it's like, bro, this guy just got revived back to life through prayer. This dude was dead on the field. And then Buddy doesn't even want to speak truth in an interview with Michael Strahan, and doesn't want to acknowledge what doctors said the reason was. We know what the reason was. Buddy got the vax. Come on now. Got me hot over here in my room on a Friday. So yeah, man. Woo. So I'm glad I was better to elaborate on that, you know, in my own studio at home and stuff like that. So I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for supporting me, regardless of, you know, if I didn't communicate that point well enough on the show. And man, this is just powerful what I'm doing with you guys today, because it just feels like one of those moments where I get to really speak that truth in a very pivotal time in America. You know, we're seeing a lot of just stuff happen with the Ohio train incident, where chemicals being let off into the air, and, you know, animals dying, and chemical warfare. Ecological disasters, whatever you want to call it. But it seems like we're under attack, man. It really does, you know. And we have, you know, our American, you know, I was talking to my brother-in-law, Zach, about this, who was actually a previous guest on our show. And, you know, he was former Marine and military. And he was letting me know that like 25% of our military right now is completely short-staffed. Let's just say that. Short-staffed. So this is something to just think about, guys. And this is not, you know, to instill fear by any means. It's just something to be aware about. And just the reality that, you know, there's been such a push for our citizens to struggle with identity issues, and to take hormonal drugs, and to take opioids, and take, you know, depression medication, and just to really weaken the American people, right? And we had a whole bunch of conservatives who actually got out of the military during the COVID era because of their policies, and because they went, you know, woke per se. And a lot of, you know, they basically weeded out Republicans and conservatives out of the military, and a lot of them left. So with that being said, there was 25% less of what we need to have in the military. Not only that, we also shipped off a lot of our guns and jets and tanks and military equipment over to Ukraine, as well as funding that war. So we're pretty short right now. We're looking a little unready for war if one were to potentially break out. So we have China, the spy plane going on. We have the train derailments. You know, is this all kind of a ploy to weaken the American people before, I don't know, let's say a war pops off and China invades Taiwan and we have to get involved? Are we even able to get involved? Do we have the strength? Do we have the people? Do we have the manpower? Do we have the weapons? We have inflation rolling at all-time high, the debt ceiling all-time high. Can we even fund our own war? Will they have to do a draft? This is the big thing I want you to think about today. Big circle around this conversation that me and my brother-in-law, Zach, former Marine, had, who follows the news and is a historian to the highest degree. Maybe not the highest degree, but, you know, he's been in his bag with history and war and stuff like that. So he was saying, like, essentially, this could be a plan. And China, has openly talked about they want to be the world power by 2050. And you also see on TikTok the things that they post on there for American people to see or American kids to see, and essentially weakening our citizens and our youth, so that if we did have to go to war and we did have to go to put a draft in place, guess who's going to war? TikTok kids and people that struggle with identity issues and all sorts of other things they struggle with, like on the front lines, so it's a really interesting perspective to have. We can't think we're safe. Look at the way we got out of Afghanistan. Like, do you feel safe after seeing that? Do you feel like American military is strong and strategic? I don't, not after seeing that, and even so, it's like, do you feel like our commander-in-chief is strength? That entire family is like corrupt, like, are they bought off by China? Is this all part of the plan, the made in China plan? I don't know. So with that being said, though, with all that spiritual warfare stuff happening and physical warfare that could potentially break out, and what we know about Jesus, telling us about the end times in Matthew 24 with rumors of war, that means, hey, Christians, we got to unite. We got to get on the same page of like, yo, we rock with truth. We rock with God. We rock with goodness. We rock with love. Everything else got to go. So when I speak about these things, it's not to create a scene or like complain that Christians aren't doing this and that, because it's like, I'm not above any other Christian at all. I'm just more so like I'm still like kind of, I don't want to say a baby at all, but I'm still looking to others in the Christian faith as like, all right, so how do I move like when it comes to certain things? How do I move when it comes to these issues that I feel like are pressing on my heart, and I don't see anybody else, sharing the things that are on my heart, for the most part. Shout out Marcus Rogers. He's one that actually does it, and a few others on, YouTube and stuff like that. But, and granted, everybody has different gifts as well. Everybody has different, I have passion as a gift. I have writing. I have, being a voice for Jesus. Some people, may be prayer warriors and they're praying about this, and that's, so that's something that I need to be more aware of. But I'm still also vocalizing like, yo, why aren't we, speaking up for good and rebuking bad, if that makes sense. So anyway, I don't want to get too long-winded on that. But yeah, man, so this is just kind of more of an update, a little follow-up episode for the episode that you guys saw with my three buddies from church. Great time, great episode. Definitely highly recommend you check that one out, as it is something that, man, it was just life-giving, and we had some good moments on there. We talked about the revival happening in Kentucky. We talked about future revivals. We even had some good screen time where we kind of included the screen of, the pictures and the videos from the footage from Asbury and stuff like that. I keep saying Alsbury. I don't know why. So yeah, man, check that out. Check out the video, man. Do me a huge favor and subscribe to the YouTube so you can actually see what we're doing on the video side of things. And don't worry, I'm going to keep these audios coming, because this is just, how we all started. And this is when I just get the most real and vulnerable, because it's just me and you talking. Couple other things I want to share with you guys on this brief episode while I catch y'all up to speed. My best friends are coming, man. Mikey and Olivier are coming from Noah's birthday, first week of March, or March 5th through the 13th, around that time period. So you already know we're going to do an episode in the studio, so be on the lookout for that. I'll probably get in the studio either March 8th or March 9th, and we'll probably do like a live stream at night. So hopefully more people can tune into that. So I think this is going to be not the last live stream that we're going to do, but we're going to use this live stream as a test to see if we should move to the night sessions instead of the daytime sessions, in hopes to get more peeps to tune in while we're live. That way we can have more audience interaction, because I do feel like that's an important part of I Like Birds, is like the community aspect of it. And I really want to start improving on that, because I really do love connecting with y'all, especially when, I was writing the letters to you guys that bought the shirts and the hats and books. I really enjoy just being able to like further connect with y'all, because man, this digital world, like, it's so easy to be like, oh, they commented on my photo, or they liked it, or they DM me, that's cool. But I'm kind of getting like sick of that, if that makes sense. I'm kind of done with that. If I could, I know it's so important to like what I do for a living, but I'm just like, I want something a little bit more connecting and more tangible, more endearing, so I really want to interact with y'all in real time, if possible, when I'm doing the live shows. So please be supportive of that. If you see us on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube and we're live, like, yo, just pop in for a few minutes, say what's up, check out a few minutes of like what we're doing. And then if you have to go back and, take care of your kids or, get dinner started or something, I totally understand. Just, come in and show love real quick if you don't mind. So yeah, man, there's a lot to be thankful for, guys. There really is, man. The fact that the Spirit is moving like it's moving right now, revival happening. We've been praying for this, man, for the last couple of years. Truly, Sean Foot, Bethel team. I'm not saying the whole Bethel squad, but like in Reading, I really know like there's a big movement for revival happening, and the fact that it started up in Kentucky in the middle of nowhere, like that's incredible, and it just shows that God can move even in a situation where there isn't much. There's no celebrity pastor, there's no influencers there. It's legit just the people, and the Spirit and the presence of God is so powerful that it attracts and it draws people there. And revival starts with repentance. So I encourage you, if you're listening and you want to get closer to God, you want to feel the love of God, I promise, repent. Like today, even before I got on the mic, bro, like I was having a hard day. Like I said, I was just exhausted from the idea of having to chase money. And I was like, man, I don't want to chase money. I want to chase God, So I gave it to God, and I'm like, yo, I'm trusting you for the big things and the little things. I'm trusting you for the finances. I'm trusting you for the big goals that we have. I'm trusting you for the bills that are unexpectedly coming up and the unexpected expenses of things. And just giving it to you, God, and let me just enjoy this day, this beautiful day of life, and this opportunity to record with you guys today and get on the mic, because, guys, I love this. This is my passion. This is my favorite thing to do, is come talk to you guys about Christ and just what he's doing in my life and what he has done, and just talk about the world and just being able to see it through the most biblical perspective as I can give, while also realizing that, sometimes your boy falls short and get a little passionate and don't communicate things the way I should and want to better, do a better job for you guys on that as well. So really improving my speaking and doing my best to just, be refined. So with that being said, I also want to kind of share a little update about I Like Words. I feel in my soul and in my spirit that we just hit a new level, a new stride, because of Man's Night that just happened. The opportunity I got to speak there and just really share my story and just have people really connect and show love. And, we had a big spike in numbers as far as people on the podcast listening, as well as people just adding me on social media, as well as people supporting online with the book and the shirt. And then the last one I wanted to share, that had one more on my heart. Oh, just people in person buying the book as well. So we sold out of every book that we brought to Man's Night. I'm actually going to make it another episode after this. Right now, in real time, I'm talking. After this one, I'm going to make a separate one that is talking about essentially the message that I gave at Man's Night, so you can hear it, so you can, feel like you were there, at least when it comes to all that was spoken about and preached about. And it's a little bit more of my story in a really touching way that's kind of hones in on why it is so important to use your voice for Christ. So tune into that one as well whenever you get an opportunity. So I Like Words, with that being said, is like I'm stacking up material for that. I am really honing in on, when I launch it, I want to launch it with like ammo ready to go. I want to have content ready to be released. I want to have episodes ready to drop. I don't want it to be, playing catch up essentially, and like, oh, like, I dropped it 2 weeks ago and now I need to make, I want to have things just ready to go. So I've been stacking material for that. Trust me on that. I've been really plotting out what I want to do and just trying to get the vision down, exactly the way God wants me to take it and which direction I want to go with it, that he wants me to go with it, and making sure that he is the source of this idea, if that makes sense to you guys, and just making sure it's Spirit-led as well. And yeah, man, I'm really excited about it. So I just want to give you guys that update because I talked about it on the last episode, and I really appreciate those that have been supportive, that say they're excited to listen to see what that's about and see if they can learn from something in there as well, and just being, a branch of what I do when it comes to podcasting and, putting on for Jesus and writing and just giving another outlet for people to really listen to during these times that we're living in. And yeah, man, so I hope you enjoyed this episode. Do me a favor and smash the subscribe button if you haven't yet. If you want to get a book still and you haven't, you've been like putting it off and you're like, oh man, I still got to get Zach's book, I've been slacking. You can go to Amazon right now. Amazon, 2-day shipping. Get it at your house. You can get the paperback, you can get the hardcover on there. People have been like really pressing me like, yo, I didn't know you had a hardcover. Like, what? And I'm like, dang, my bad. Like, I just thought everybody wanted the cheapest one they can get their hands on. So I apologize about that. If you didn't know I had a hardcover, I do have one. You know, it would be really cool and would be a blessing thing to do if you were one of those people that do want the hardcover. Get yourself a hardcover and go ahead and donate the paperback to somebody that you think will enjoy it. That way we can get the book in more hands, more people reading it, more people more likely to support the show, as well as, you know, get closer to God, as well as maybe even potentially sponsor a kid from Subi. So that'd be amazing if you guys can help me out and do that, and just help me grow the show as much as possible, as well as move as many books as possible by leaving a review on Amazon. I know I'm asking for a lot today, but also, come on, man, I'm motivated. I'm excited. I think that we're on to something that is unique and genuine, and is going to continue to break the mold of what, you know, people think about when they think about the word Christianity or Jesus. So I love you guys, and I truly appreciate you being here and supporting the show in any way that you can. And check out the previous episode if you may have missed it, and catch up on some of the older ones if you want to. Binge Bird is what I like to say. So we are the Birdhouse. My name is Zach Rippey, and I hope you have a blessed day of life.